All right, finally getting caught up on some reading around here. Let's see, this is a good one from the box. Wait a minute. Carry the three. It's your birthday! Wow! Welcome back to the Railways Go Fast to Old Big Mek here, and apologies if I sound a little weird. Nurgle's rot has visited our household once again, but we're getting through it with the power of Gork and Mork. Let's get into it. Alright, for those of you that are not quite so graybeard as Old Big Mek here, you weren't around back in the heady year 2000 when it actually happened to be Games Workshop's 25th anniversary, as you see here. They started in 1975, and one thing that they did to celebrate such a milestone was to have, as you see here, a sale. And that was very, very, very cool. It is 2025 tomorrow. I'm filming this on December 31st. If you're not watching it on that date, I'm sorry, but you've missed out. But yeah, 2025 is the new year. And even by my math, I can figure out that that 25 means that Games Workshop is now 50. Which means I've been collecting their stuff more than half the time they've been alive. Let's not think about that too much. Moving on. But yeah, seriously, this was really, really cool. This, I looked through actually all of my stuff, and I don't have like a super extensive collection because I didn't keep a lot of the stuff from back in the day, but I didn't really see any mention of this in the literal price guide from 2000, which I have right here. This is the mail order price list. You could get these every year, and it has the prices on literally everything Games Workshop makes for the year in both the US and Canadian. And yeah, I looked through the whole 2000 one here, and there was no mention of the sale. I actually have quite a lot of promotional stuff from that time because one random thing I did keep was a box full of receipts and posters and little mailers like this. But one thing that was in there was this little foldout. And I distinctly remember this coming out in the year 2000 and ordering from this and being really excited about it. So what they did is they came out with this flyer here for the sale. And inside it gave you all of the deals. And I think it would be a lot of fun to go over these and then see what we'd think about doing this in 2025. All right, let's take a look. So starting here on page 1 on the top left, we've got 10% off all bits. Now, this was back in the day when Games Workshop would sell literally each and every single individual piece from every single model, which is obviously not something they do anymore, so you can't really do that anymore. But it is always very, very cool to see and remember what that was like. They also had 20% off of all blisters, box sets, and games. This is an incredibly good deal, especially as you see they had Battlefleet Gothic, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, 40k, your individual units. If they did a 20% off sale, that would be absolutely huge this day and age, where 15% off is about the best retail you can get. They also had these interesting deals like this Wheels of Steel deal. It was 3 tanks or Dreadnought and get 1 of equal or lesser value for free. Now, the funny thing is, this stacked with this. So you could buy 3 tanks at 20% off and still get the 4th one free. So that was a really, really, really cool deal. They also had this regiments deal, did the same kind of thing. You got 3 Warhammer or 40k regiments. That was back when you could get these like 20-man boxes of big bricks and get 1 for free. That one was a lot of fun as well. And again, also stacked with that 20% off. They also had these starter deals. These were a really, really good thing. Check this out. So Warhammer Fantasy starter deal. You get the base boxed game. So that was the starter set that came with the 2 complete armies in it. You got a magic boxed set, the army book, and a paint set. So it's kind of everything you needed to start playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Now, obviously, you would kind of want to choose one of the army books for the starter set. But yeah, it was a really, really cool way to get started in the game. And they did the same thing for 40k. 40k, I think, was an even bigger deal. $150 US, which we'll have to do some math on what that is in $20-25. But you got the starter game. That's the 3rd edition starter game. So it had 10 Space Marines, the Land Speeder, and 20 Dark Eldar in it. You could get any battle force of your choice, any codex of your choice, and the paint set, which came with 5 more Space Marines. Obviously, getting a Space Marine battle force would have been a really, really good thing. I think back in the day, it was
a Rhino, 3 bikes, and another squad. I could be mistaken there, but that could have been a good deal. I think the Dark Elder one was a Raider, 20 more warriors and something else, maybe a couple of jet bikes, 3 of the jet bikes. But yeah, any of the battle forces to go with that starter set. I really wanted to do this, but I already had the starter set and I had bought spares out of it from a bunch of friends. And so I didn't need anything from it. So it would have been wasted money. But man, what a good deal that was back in the day. You also had, this is the absolute wild one, right? The Space Marines chapter. Everybody remembers this iconic image from the inside of the Space Marine Codex, of the entire Ultramarines chapter all lined up. I'll go grab my Codex and show you the better picture of that. But you got everything in the picture for $5,000 US. Now, keep in mind, that includes the Thunderhawk. In fact, if you look, the Thunderhawk was free. You could sell that Thunderhawk for more than $5,000 these days, but you got it for free with all of this stuff. And I mean, it is quite the extensive list. You've got all of your special characters, Marnie's Calgar, Chief Librarian Tigerius, the Chaplains, the Librarians, your whole first veteran company with all of the Terminators and the Land Raiders. There were 10 Land Raiders. You got 10 Land Raiders with that. And then all of your battle companies, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, battle companies, and then you got your reserve companies as well, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then your 10th scout company and your chapter armory. That was an insane amount of product. Here is that photo from the 3rd edition rulebook. In fact, the photo that they show in there isn't even the whole thing, because this is only half of it. This is the other half. But obviously they didn't want to give you 3 Thunderhawks. But yeah, that is the whole Ultramarines chapter, and that's what you were getting. Everything but these other 2 Thunderhawks. You got everything in this photo and everything in this photo. Absolutely insanity for $5,000. Lastly, they had a plug for White Dwarf, although there was no sale on it, and a plug for some game stay tickets.
Now, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to kind of figure out what that would be in today's dollars. $5,000 in 2020 is $9,160.66 today. So a little over $9,000. Could you imagine buying all of this stuff nowadays in the modern kits for a little over $9,000? I think that would still honestly be a pretty good deal. I mean, think about 10 Land Raiders or 10 of whatever the Primaris equivalents are, all of those different squads, all the Terminator squads, all of the special characters. And then nowadays, of course, you'd get Rabute Gilliman. You would get so many more special characters that they've come out with that would fit into the Ultramarines. You know, Marnie's Calgar now has his Honor Guard. You've now got things like Stern Guard and, you know, all the different, what are those, like the heavy intercessors, and you've got the assault intercessors, and you've got, you know, the reavers. Like, there's a ton more now that goes into it rather than just building literally 1,000 tactical marines. So that would be really, really cool. I mean, would you like them to do something like that? I mean, it's their 50th anniversary. 50 is a really big number. It's even bigger than my number. My number's pretty big. Like, that is a lot. That is really, really something special, and they should do something special for it. And the fact that they kind of blipped this in and it wasn't really advertised much of anywhere else unless you were already ordering from them, they might do something similar this year. That would be really, really cool. All right, let's talk about those other deals too, though. This one was a little bit more fun. So that starter set, a battle force, which nowadays would be equivalent to like a combat patrol, and the paint set and codex, the 150. In 2024 end of year dollars, you'd be looking at $274.82. That's pretty much retail on what a starter set, a combat patrol, a codex, and the little paint set would go for. Maybe a little bit higher depending on which starter set you went with. They do heavily discount their starter sets and combat patrols. But yeah, kind of interesting that we're not too far off of that just in regular pricing today. So something to think about. But obviously these would have been the deals that would get everybody talking. Could you imagine Games Workshop doing a stackable deal of 20% off every kit and also a buy 3 get 1 free on vehicles and regiments? That would be super rad. I would definitely be putting some teeth on a credit card for that. I could totally use 4 vehicles for my armies. I could totally use 4 regiment boxes.
for my armies. I could use multiples of those. And frankly, there's a lot of games that I want to start that I haven't been able to get into yet just because of pricing. So something like these starter deals, if they did this for Age of Sigmar or Warhammer the Old World, would be really, really cool. Necromunda would be really rad. Like, I could totally see doing the Necromunda starter set with a, one of the gangs and the rule book and stuff like that would be a really, really cool thing. You could do it with Adeptus Titanicus. You could do it with Horus Heresy. That'd be really cool to see the Horus Heresy starter set and then get one of their Battle Force equivalents and whatnot. Like, you could get the, the Mechanicum one or something like that to go with all of the Space Marines in the starter set. Give yourself 3 different armies to play with, right? That'd be a heck of a lot of fun. And especially if they could bring back prices like this. Obviously, $150 probably isn't going to happen. But even, like I said, if they did it for that $275 more or less, depending on which boxes they're giving you, that could be a really good deal. But yeah, that 20% off, all sorts of fun stuff. That would just be matching this. Being their 50th anniversary, you'd really hope for something even wilder and more grandiose and just everything about it. They're turning 50, right? That is a huge milestone for a company, especially when they just got listed on the UK equivalent of like NASDAQ because they're making so many billions of dollars. Come on, Games Workshop. You should be giving us a present this year. If you guys agree with old Big Mek and think I should be chairman of Games Workshop, throw a comment down below, share this with a friend, and let's talk about Games Workshop having sales again, because frankly, we need it. And I also think it would be good for them. I think it would definitely kickstart some sales. I know I would spend a lot more money knowing that I'm getting a deal on prices than I normally would. And I think a lot of other people are in that same boat. Look at how popular the holiday battle forces are, for example. They are one of the few ways to get a discount on kits, and so people go bananas for them. Throw us a sale, man. It's your 50th anniversary. Let's do this. All right, that's all I got in my throat for today. Thank you all for joining me this year, all 5,000 of you. Speaking of milestones with a 5, and I'm old Big Mek here. Hit 5,000 subscribers here on The Red Ones Go Faster, and a huge, massive thank you to each and every one of you that watched the video this year. Super mad appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I really got to go hit some more medicine and get back in the sack. I will catch you next year. Until then, Wagon!